the build phase. I think this is number 5 in our construction process. Obviously the most exciting part. It's what all the energy and effort leading up to this point has been for, and it's where we really start to see the most impact. What I will say is the previous 4 steps are, in my opinion, are much more important than the actual build itself. And I don't mean that lightly. The build is important, but planning, preparation, having documents and specifications, selections, all those things, all the design phase, everything figured out, both parties, contractor and client, understand what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen. Those are really important steps. So I just want to make sure that that's, noted. Anyways, build phase. First thing we're going to do, we're going to have a kickoff meeting. This is a time where we can kind of come together. We'll get as many team members on our side to be available for that initial kind of kickoff. We call it the kickoff meeting. It's initial meeting on site with usually sometimes our foreman or our main carpenter, lead carpenter, our superintendent, myself or our other project managers, sometimes the designer and client. So if we can get all 5 parties there, or all 5 kind of people from those different areas there, it makes for the best kickoff meeting. At a minimum, it's typically myself, our superintendent, and client. So minimum is 3. Ideal is 5. If there's a tricky electrical component or plumbing component, we'll try to get them in as well. It might not be during the kickoff phase, but it'll be sometimes it'll be before the demo phase, just to make sure that we're all on the same page and everybody understands what's going to happen before we tear into it. So at the kickoff meeting, we're going to go over a couple basic things. Lockbox or entry. If you have a keyless entry and you can make us a code. In the past, what's worked really well is people will take our main phone line or a different 4 or 5 digit code and give that as, or set that on their unit as our code. And then when we're done, they can erase that code, and it kind of is an added security measure, making sure that their access is kept safe. So either lockbox, which we kind of hang on the door or near the door, or an access code. Yard sign. Some people don't love the yard signs. What I always say is the yard sign ensures that all of our guys know exactly which house to go to and where to do the work. Now they're not gonna go somewhere else, but it's just easy, and it makes sure that everyone's aware of this is where we're doing the work, because there's gonna be a lot of moving parts and pieces, a lot of people in and out, and if that yard sign is there, they know exactly where to go and which one's ours. Additionally, dumpster placement. We can put a dumpster on the street. There's additional fees, usually per jurisdiction, required to do that, called a dumpster permit and a dumpster placement fee. We try to put, most of our remodels, we can get a smaller dumpster or a few smaller dumpsters that'll fit nicely in the driveway. And so we always recommend going in the driveway. It'll save a little money. It's usually cleaner. It's off the street. Draws less attention. It's less intrusive to the neighborhood, if you will. But that's to be kind of decided during that time. And then lastly, staging area. This is typically a garage. If you don't have a garage, maybe a basement, bathrooms and kitchens. There's a lot of moving, people in and out of those in day-to-day use. So we don't stage the upcoming material there due to that fact. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. People don't want to be tripping over things in their way when they're in their bathroom. So we stage material before, and material can come at any point in time. Sometimes we'll order it and have it shipped direct, or we'll order, kind of the whole package, we'll compile it at the shop, and then we'll bring it out on site during the kickoff meeting and set it in our staging area, wherever that is dictated to be. Staging area will also be used, pending weather, to cut, materials, and to kind of assemble things as needed in that area, in the garage, and then place them inside. Maybe we've got to mix some mortar, etc. So it just is a dedicated space for our team to utilize during the build phase. So that's a kickoff meeting. super critical, super important. It's a great time for kind of all the collaboration to happen, or the last minute sort of details to get ironed out before we start into that demo phase. Demolition, noisy, dirty, dusty. We're gonna hang, if it's in a bathroom, we'll hang a piece of plastic over the doorway. That helps minimize dust. But what I always tell people is your house is gonna get a little dusty. It really is. We always include a cleaning crew to come in and kind of tidy things up after we're done. So, not to worry about that. We'll handle that at the end. But in the interim, there is some dust. I mean, it's really difficult, and I won't lie to you guys or to any of our clients. It gets dusty in your house, in your home, and that's just part of the process, unfortunately. Rough-ins. Rough-ins are, think of everything that you really can't see, mainly to do with electrical, plumbing, and HVAC equipment and line sets, and in-wall connections. So if we have to move an outlet or a receptacle, we have to move a switch up or down, maybe we've got to add some new lights, that's all going to happen during the rough-in phase. And that'll get moved around once demolition is complete. The walls are open, things are easy to access, and they can be moved to where they need to be per the new layout. Sometimes they don't have to move that far. Sometimes they don't move at all. They don't move at all. Just depends on what the layout is or what the new design requires. Finishes. That's the fun part. After rough-ins, next step is finishes. It's tile floor, tile showers, cabinets, vanity ensembles, light fixtures, plumbing fixtures, all your finishes, all your fixtures, all the pretty things that you see at the end. That'll happen during the finish stage. Substantial completion. We typically have this as a milestone, meaning all of the major parts and pieces, major components to a bathroom. Let's again use a bathroom. That's an easy example. I'll keep going back to that. But for a bathroom, they're installed, they're in working condition, and you could use the bathroom functionally to do what it's required to do. Now, maybe we're short a piece of crown molding, maybe the toe kick didn't come in, maybe we damaged a piece of trim, we gotta go get another one. Like, those are all things that need to be completed and will be completed, but they don't shut down the bathroom. Right, like the toilet's on, it's set, it's usable, the sink is running, it's going, it's good to go. Shower is operational. Maybe there's not shower glass yet, but you can hang a curtain, use the shower. So that shower glass is always a kind of a hit and miss depending on where we come in that schedule. With that being kind of a long lead item, that usually comes after substantial completion. Substantial completion and final completion. In between those two, we will do a site walk and create what's called a punch list. A punch list is any remaining items that need to happen, similar to what I mentioned, before we can before we hit final completion, before everything is completely done, we're totally finished, and tie a bow on it, and we can get out of there. Everyone's happy. So that punch list will happen in between substantial, which is it's usable, and final. It's the last little checklist from A to B. Trade partners and craftswomen as well. We've got a lot of trusted trade partners we've worked with for years that we bring in and out of projects as needed. We've got tile crews, paint crews, drywall crews, depending on the project size, the project needs, and what we're trying to accomplish, or the degree of difficulty, or how we have to schedule things. We'll bring in those guys as needed. Same with our carpenters, and that is, we find value in that, meaning we get the best crew who does that work day in and day out to give us the best result on our projects. It does require a little more management on our end, and scheduling and planning on the front side to make sure we can keep that aligned and things moving forward. But overall, we find that our products and our results speak for themselves at the end of the day, and we really enjoy that model, and have had great success with it. That's the build phase. That's the exciting one. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you have a project coming up, you want to reach out, again, hit our website, fill out a project form, shoot me an email, send me a text, give us a call, and we can go from there. Hit like, hit subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.